Welcome to Summon Your Superhuman. Can you believe that we're officially in the second half of 2024? Time is moving way too fast, which is exactly what I mentioned in the last episode, that time was slipping by so quickly at the start of the year. And before we know it, 12 weeks would have flown by. And here we are, almost 16 weeks, I think, since the last episode. Sorry, guys. Life has certainly felt like a whirlwind, and I know you probably can relate. But today, I'm excited to dive back in and catch up. We have so much to talk about, like why failure is actually a great teacher, and so is procrastination. As a predisposed perfectionist, I can assure you that for every passing week, it has absolutely killed me for not releasing a new episode. Like, kills me. I feel like I failed, and the guilt sets in, and the inner turmoil knots in my stomach. However, if you're anything like me, lots has been going on too. And we're constantly facing challenges all the time. And if we don't learn from them and go through them, they swallow us up whole. But we have to also look at it like an opportunity to learn and give yourself some grace and patience with all of life's happenings and realize we're only human, even if we are trying to be superhuman. Failures are often blessings in disguise. They're like a crossroads that makes us stop and think, is the path I'm pursuing truly important to me? Is this the road I'm really destined to be on? And if so, why didn't this work out as I planned? What is this failure trying to teach me? I've honestly spent most of this year, maybe even last year, feeling like a failure and that I failed this podcast. Failure, in the good old trusty dictionary, says that it means the lack of success in doing or achieving something. But to me, failure is a lesson in not doing, as well as those things. Hence, not achieving, because we didn't do. A dream doesn't work unless we do. And feeling like a failure is a remorseful chance to reassess, learn, and grow stronger if we're willing, because the pain of not doing the thing is usually significantly worse than actually doing the thing we're avoiding. So, I wanted to share some tips on how I've dealt with these perceived failures. One, viewing failure as a learning opportunity rather than a setback. Each failure provides valuable lessons that can guide future actions and therefore lead us to future success. Two, reflect on said failures. Take time to analyze what went wrong and why. Understanding the reasons behind your failures helps prevent repeat mistakes. Three, celebrate efforts, not just results. Acknowledge and appreciate your efforts, regardless of the outcome. This encourages further effort and learning. For me, hosting this podcast was always a means to provide more content and information regarding topics of discussion outside of coaching sessions for my clients that I work with. Then I started to realize that it was also a valuable hub of information for other people I'm yet to even meet. Maybe you. And that has been quite exhilarating. To see my words reaching people all over the globe, it's like a Google for what would Ria say? It's not some of my clients joke. And there I am answering said questions. What's the point of obsessing and obtaining so much knowledge and experience, fine tuning my craft if I can't share it far and wide? I really do want to do this. But it's been so challenging juggling my workload and FaceTime hours with people and then making time to plan, record, and post because this all happens outside of my working schedule and things happen. But honoring the process and learning to not beat yourself up is hard, especially if you've been a high achiever your whole life. I feel like I've been learning, reviewing, and doing my best to plow forward the last couple of years, to be honest. Which brings me to procrastination. Why do we do it? What are you procrastinating on if you're truly honest with yourself? This is where it becomes tricky, and true discernment needs to be exercised. Are you putting off or delaying and complaining about not having time to do something you really want to do because your actions say otherwise? Actions always speak louder than words. And sometimes we have to come to a conclusion and call it a day and say, clearly, this isn't something I really want to do, or else I would have done it. I procrastinated creating this podcast. And because my streak hasn't been as good as it was the first year or so, it's really made me feel disappointed in myself. And sometimes these crossroads are an opportunity to call yourself on your SHIT. Is this actually important to me? And do I want it? If yes, then why am I creating so many roadblocks for myself? Procrastination in the dictionary means the action of delaying or postponing something. Also accurate. However, it often masks deeper issues such as fear, lack of clarity, or even the pursuit of perfection, which are all things I've personally suffered from for sure. And I've spoken about these instances also in a separate episode about the unrealistic pursuit of perfection. So, why do some people call success luck, whilst others call it consistently seizing the day? I have to say, it's a lot to do with staring fear and opportunities square in the face and deciding, yes, I'm doing it, and doing it often. So, here are some actionable steps I've implemented for overcoming procrastination. 1. Set specific targets. Break down large tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. This makes the task less overwhelming and easier to start. For instance, if you're working on a big project, split it into daily tasks so that you can tick it off your to-do list daily. 2. Time blocking and using time management techniques. If it's not scheduled, it's unlikely to happen. Couple this with techniques like the Pomodoro technique, working for 24 to 45 minutes, taking a 5-minute break. This can increase productivity and reduce procrastination. 3. Eliminate distractions. Create a workspace that minimizes distractions. Turn off your notifications, use website blockers, and keep your environment clean and organized. 4. Prioritize tasks. Focus on your most important tasks for the day and tackle them first. This ensures you're making progress on critical items. As Brian Tracy has a great short read called Eat the Frog. I highly recommend it. It's a great book to help put an end to your procrastination. 5. Accountability. Share your goals with your partner, a friend, or a mentor who can hold you accountable on your targets. Sometimes that extra push from someone else can make all the difference. Let there even be a consequence, a benefit to that accountable partner, like household chores or dinner on me if I don't get this done, their choice of where. So now that we embark on the second half of 2024, I assure you, the time will aimlessly go unless you set some parameters. Do you still desire that goal you've been delaying to achieve? Do you not believe you can achieve it? What is stopping you? If you're realizing you don't actually want to do that thing anymore, then let it go. But perhaps look at why you wanted it in the first place, and maybe you'll find a more deeply rooted answer there. Or maybe today you decide that I'm going for it. Now, the key, as you may have gathered, is to take action, making a decision and going for it. Because sometimes we spin our wheels and paralyze ourselves in fear with all the details of how, when, and what. But the secret is to just start. Know where and why you want a result, and then leap and search for a place for your feet to land. Whose support do you need? What tools, skills, and experience is necessary to reach that target? And go for it. And at the very least, schedule some time in to give it a go. If you don't time block periods to do, the doing doesn't happen. You know this deep down to be true. And so even though we may know a lot of what I've said today, but I wanted to show up here as a reminder to both you and I, let this be a cheering of belief and support in your corner that you can do it. And knowing and doing are very different forms of wisdom. So overcoming procrastination and embracing failure are ongoing processes. By implementing these tips and maintaining a focus on your targets, things will start to happen. You will start to make progress. And the scary thing is it'll start to feel less scary and far more achievable. There's an anonymous saying, amateurs practice until they get it right, and professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. So now is the time to practice until your failures become strengths and your strengths become your goals for real. So please drop me a message, a comment, and let me know if you found this helpful. And what are you going after in this last 3 to 6 months of the year? Really get clear and specific and aim for that target like your life is depending on it. Because tomorrow isn't promised. And I don't want to say it, but 2025 is around the corner. So please share this with anyone you know who needs to hear this message. I promise to continue to show up as best I can and as often as I can to share what I'm learning and answer the most common questions I receive. Please follow Summon Your Superhuman for inspirational posts on socials and YouTube for upcoming releases. Until next time, superhuman in the making, strengthen your mind, body, and soul muscles, and stay amazing.